Hiya friends! I know on this channel we've been doing this whole what happened in between World War II and the Cold War thing, and I'm very excited to tell you more about the rocky history of America's plan to save Europe from economic collapse, as well as the implosion of the British Empire, maybe even how close France was to going communist. But you see, there's something that's been living in my brain rent-free for a year now, and I've just gotta share it with you. It is a dream deferred, a vision of a better world. It's this. It's Long Connecticut. It was real, and if you're wondering where it went, that involves 3 American civil wars and a long-forgotten 51st state. So buckle up. In the 1630s, Connecticut's founders left Massachusetts over religious differences, started their own towns, and created a constitution to band them together. Never could they have foreseen the glorious destiny that awaited their people. In the 1660s, the Connecticuters wanted the king to formally recognize their colony and its government. In 1662, the king gave them this, and so much more. The king has given us his word! We have been granted rights to this here Narragansett Bay and every land west to the Pacific Ocean. We are his chosen people. On that day, a great dream was born. Men took up their rifles and their plows and ventured west. It did not matter they would not live to see the Pacific's sandy shores. The quest to create Long Connecticut had begun. The first problem, of course, was that those lands were already inhabited. The founding Connecticutites encountered a land shaped and settled by generations of Pequots, Narragansetts, and Mohegans. But, in a story we're all familiar with, the English settlers soon came to dominate the region. They were, perhaps, too successful. For you see, there was a second and even greater obstacle to the Connecticutans' dream of the Western Sea, and that was the United States. Connecticut was not the only colony to whom the king had given free rein to expand westward. North Carolina reached as far as the end of Tennessee. Georgia claimed most of modern-day Alabama and Mississippi. For most states, this wasn't an issue, but young Connecticut was surrounded by vultures. Problem was, in 1662, the only thing west of Connecticut, aside from the Indians, were the Dutch, and King Charles saw the Dutch in the same way he saw the Indians. He pretended they weren't there and claimed everything in sight. But then, only a few years later, he defeated the Dutch, and New Netherlands became New Jersey, New York, and later Pennsylvania. Now, the king's own men were obstructing Connecticut's manifest destiny. This is all the places where the colonies claimed each other's land. Just look at this mess. The matter could only be settled with blood. The Connecticutians were first to purchase this land from the Iroquois Confederation, but then the godless heathen Iroquois reneged on their deal and sold the land again to the godless heathen Pennsylvanians. The Pennsylvanians invaded and drove out the Connecticutans from their home. King George himself intervened to confirm that the land rightfully belonged to Connecticut. The Pennsylvanians returned to expel the land's rightful owners at gunpoint. But Connecticut had the last laugh when, despite being outnumbered by more than 2-1, Colonel Zebulon Butler drove out the invaders at the Battle of Rampart Rocks. The matter appeared to be settled once and for all. Long Connecticut had been ordained by law and right of conquest. But everything changed with the Revolution. Believing in the might of their sword, the people of Connecticut turned their backs on King George, and no one could save them from their new master. In 1786, the matter was brought to court, and the ruinous Union of the United States declared, "The land clearly belongs to Pennsylvania." Bollocks it does! Now, this is antebellum America. We have a compromise. This land will go to Pennsylvania, but we will guarantee you this: the Western Reserve. That was supposed to be ours anyway! Tell it to King George. Every Connecticut Yankee who found themselves in Pennsylvania was dispossessed of all their land, but they knew their rights. A group of audacious pioneers decided, fine, Connecticut won't fight the feds. and Pennsylvania won't give us our rights. We declare independence! We are the state of Westmoreland! That was quick, but my followers will get me out of here. You see, this is the day you almost caught. Where are you going? I'm right here!
Let him go.
I can't.
Give him a pardon.
I literally can't. I'm only a colonel.
So wait, where does that leave us over who owns the land?
Maybe we can appeal the court decision? The Connecticut campers accomplished very little, but the worst of that dark year was yet to come, when the U.S. central government came calling.
What do you want? Hasn't your government done enough?
Revolution doesn't come cheap, Sam. Connecticut is in debt. A fierce debt. Congress can make all of that go away.
At what cost?
Not a penny. Nor gold, nor fur, nor timber. Just an idea.
Long Connecticut.
Everything west of the Western Reserve.
You're asking me to butcher the dreams of a people.
You don't seriously believe you'd ever actually be allowed to settle to the sea, do you? Every other state is giving up their western territories. Let it go, Sam. It's time to wake up. You have a debt to pay. In 1 year, the Western Reserve was all that was left of Connecticut's dream of the sea. All that was left of any of the 13 colonies' boundless western borders. Connecticut began a rush to settle the Western Reserve, but alas, I fear their spirits were crushed. Because you see, Connecticut didn't settle the land to make it clear who owned that land. They sold the land to a land speculation company. And once they'd made their money, and once they saw that, in fact, no one was settling down in the Western Reserve, they saw no need to continue governing their distant and sparsely populated little territory. They surrendered their jurisdiction to the federal government in the year 1800, and the dream of Long Connecticut was dead.